Listen to the All in My Head podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Please, allow me to show you something.
Welcome back to the All in My Head podcast. I'm Jenny, and I am your host, and this is episode 6. We are cruising right along. I'm having so much fun with this, so I want to thank you all for your support and for listening. We're having a really great time recording and putting out content, so keep following us. I appreciate it so much. And like I said, this is episode 6, and it's called For the Love of All Things Pumpkin. Because I like everyone, or I won't say everyone. This is controversial, right? I like most people love a pumpkin spice latte. And as I stated in episode 2, and I talked about my love of coffee and all things coffee related, and kind of how that all came to be and my background with coffee. I love a pumpkin spice latte. And it's, the season coming up pretty soon. But long before the pumpkin spice latte, I loved pumpkin flavored foods in general. I don't think necessarily this stemmed from my childhood because I was raised in the 70s and 80s and in a Latino family, as I've said before. But, Latinos do love a root vegetable. So maybe that's where it kind of came to be. I would make pumpkin breads and pumpkin muffins in the fall. And in fall in Connecticut is very fall, right? It's the leaves falling and it's the cooler temps. And so, a lot of those root-related meals would come about for my family. And I would definitely venture into some of those pumpkin-related foods. And so I definitely had a love for pumpkin flavor, but I didn't necessarily get into it as much as I did starting in 2009 when I began working in a Connecticut middle school and I met a speech pathologist named Sue, who we shared that mutual obsession of pumpkin flavored things. And that's where I think my obsession for it kind of flourished and turned into something completely different. It was definitely something I liked before, but it turned into kind of an obsession. And I'll tell you a little bit about that more. But, with my self-diagnosed OCD and my love for order in all things, I do not, and I did not start eating anything pumpkin flavored until the official calendar start of fall. And I won't do it. Because to me, it's just not fall until it's fall on the calendar, as Halloween's not Halloween until the month of October, and Christmas isn't Christmas until, for me, the day after Thanksgiving. So I am very OCD and love the order of things. And everyone seems to be jumping into that pumpkin spice latte and pumpkin spice flavored things like early August. And now that I live in the South, it certainly doesn't even feel like fall. I mean, it's still 85, 90 degrees. So way too early for me. And Sue was the same way. Like, she would not start the pumpkin obsession until it was officially fall on the calendar. And maybe that's something also because we work in schools and we followed the calendar so meticulously, but we bonded over that. And also, all the things pumpkin. It was kind of the glue that would cement our relationship in so many ways. And what we would do is we would find special pumpkin flavored finds and then put it in each other's mailboxes. So, maybe one day she would find something and she would put it in my mailbox, and then maybe the next day or the next week I would find something and put it in her mailbox. And that's always fun when you work in a school because mostly you're getting work that has to be done in your mailbox. So to find something fun like that and that we shared was special. And for us, it was kind of like the more obscure, the better. Like, yes, we would love a pumpkin muffin and, pumpkin bread. But, at one time I found some pumpkin ravioli and I put it in her mailbox. And then she found pumpkin chipotle pasta sauce, which went perfectly with, that pumpkin ravioli or a pumpkin pasta that I found. And of course, I would buy it for her, but I would also buy one for myself. And then we would share kind of our take on if we liked it or if we needed to try it with something else. But, we did pumpkin cookies and pumpkin popcorn. And I mean, you name it. If we found it in pumpkin flavor, we gave it a shot and we shared it with the other person. And eventually that expanded into pumpkin recipes that we would print out at work and put in each other's mailboxes. And if that person didn't try it, maybe I would try it, maybe she would try it, and we would share kind of what we thought of it. So, it became like the thing on top of buying the pumpkin flavored foods or candies or snacks, but also the pumpkin recipes. So it might be pumpkin strudel or a pumpkin oatmeal or pumpkin soup, pumpkin chili, pumpkin monkey bread. I remember that one was a good one that she shared with me because I would always make monkey bread for my kids. Like it was like a special little thing that we would make monkey bread and sit and eat that together. But my kids and my husband don't like things pumpkin flavored. So I kind of made it for myself and then we shared it together. And, we would find other things throughout the day. And, we would find each other, in a classroom or see each other in the hallway or go out of our way to find each other in our offices and, just share our take on either the recipe or what we found or just to say thank you and just to find each other in a quiet moment and check in on each other too. So we did that throughout our time at the middle school, and then she moved over to the high school. So then we started inter-office mailing each other the pumpkin finds that we would find. Like, it probably would have just been simple to find a pumpkin recipe and email it to each other, but we continued to send each other things through the inter-office, whether it was a snack or a candy or whatever the case may be. Just to keep that connection going. And then I eventually ended up transferring over to the high school. And when she found out about that, she was super excited. And she knew that we were going to continue our pumpkin obsession in person now. So again, once that fall hit on the calendar, we would start sharing these things. And then it became kind of a joke because other people would see, as all mailboxes in schools are together in one room, other people would see either myself dropping something in Sue's mailbox or Sue dropping something in my mailbox, or they would just see it in the mailbox and kind of, inquire when we were picking up, like, what's going on? Who gave you that? As we also know, people can be very inquisitive. I'll use that word. I'll use that politically correct word in a workplace, but especially in a school workplace. People were very intrigued as to who was sending me a gift of something and also her a gift of something, not knowing if it was pumpkin related, just seeing that there was something different in the mailbox. So we would kind of carry that forward as our little joke that we were sending each other these love packages. And everyone was kind of trying to figure out who was sending us gifts. And it was kind of our own little funny joke between us. And it was something like end of September, once that fall hit on the calendar, till the end of November, we would each find each other cool pumpkin tasting things. And of course, I would always have a pumpkin spice latte in my hand. Sue would drink tea usually. But it was our thing for a couple of months and something we had in common and something that would just connect us, but also open up bigger discussions and bigger conversations about each other's lives and what was going on. And that was just so much fun. It was, it went on for a long time. And the funny thing is we never ran out of things to share. We would always find something different. And and then if we didn't like it, we just didn't get it again, but also the recipes that we could share with each other that we would drop in each other's mailboxes. And Sue ended up retiring and she moved to Florida, but we had promised each other that we would reach out and that we would continue to share on Facebook recipes if we found it, or a find in one of the local stores. It was always a good chance that you would find something pumpkin related seasonally at Aldi. So we would always scour those shelves and find something kind of cool and different and send each other a picture in Facebook Messenger. And, we did that throughout the years that she was retired and I was still working. And it gave us that opportunity also to connect outside of that time in each other's lives more intensely and more intently, and share in each other's joys and each other's wins and what was going on with our family, with our children, as mine were growing up and grown, and she had grown children and grandchildren. And we would share in each other's joys and wins and also our defeats, because Sue was diagnosed with cancer shortly after she retired, and her husband was also diagnosed with another form of cancer as well. And throughout the time that she battled, and she battled like a warrior, like most people who are diagnosed with a disease like cancer do, they are warriors. And she battled, and throughout that time, I would just check in on her, but she still found the time to caringly check in on me, or comment on a picture I posted about my family or an event that was happening or something. She would always check in. And she even continued to share those pumpkin finds while she was going through her treatments. And whether it was a recipe that she found online or something she found in the store, and even if she wasn't eating it at the time, because she couldn't, she thought enough to send it to me and to ask me if I tried it, or if I picked it up at the store, or if I made the recipe. And I would always share that with her. And that's something that her and I, it just became more than our love for pumpkin that bonded us. We had very similar takes on life. We had the love of our family and the love of our children in common. So it started off as this bond over pumpkin, but it just grew and it flourished. And, I was able to follow along on her courageous battle online, through her Caring Bridge page, which her husband meticulously kept us up to date. And when he was sick and going through his treatments, one of her daughters would keep everyone up to date on there. And even in her final couple weeks, I was able to reach out to her and send her love and let her know I was thinking about her and praying for her. And she did the same in return. And so it was just a special little thing that bonded us, but that grew into something so much more. And we did that until she passed in July of 2022. And then it was just strange for me to not get messages from her. And again, sometimes I have this disconnect when I lose someone that I can't really delete them from my phone, and I have a difficult time unfollowing their Facebook page. But it was strange for me not to get those recipes or to get those things. And so throughout the fall of 2022 and even into the fall of 2023, I didn't really make many pumpkin recipes. And aside from picking up a pumpkin spice latte or buying pumpkin coffee, I didn't really go searching for pumpkin foods. I didn't feel like I wanted to, probably in big part because that was something that we shared together. And it just felt strange for me to continue to do it when Sue wasn't here. And I didn't really connect that until, the past year and a half. And, I've been working through things in therapy and things on my own. And I literally remember talking about something else and my therapist making that connection and saying, you kind of disconnect from that, and And is it because that person's not around? It's kind of like I compartmentalize these things. And then this past summer, I remember saying aloud to myself, like, would Sue not want me to carry on this tradition? Would she like not want me to partake of things that are pumpkin flavored or that are pumpkin related? I mean, she would literally say, come on, kid, go find a new pumpkin flavored food, make a new recipe, and find someone who would like to carry it forward with you and carry forward our love of all things pumpkin. Like, I could hear her saying that. And she wouldn't want me feeling sad about the bond that we had. She definitely wouldn't want me to stop enjoying things that reminded me of her, because she was selfless and in so many ways. And I could go into a whole other story about how kind she was to me during our work days and in situations where I was not maybe being treated well in the aspect of my job, and that she advocated for me in so many ways. So she was super selfless in that and in her life, but also, like myself, her and I showed our love for people with acts of service. And that was one of her love languages, and it's certainly one of my love languages. And so sharing, something in the smallest way by gifting something to another person, in particular with Sue, the pumpkin flavored goodies, that was an act of kindness and a love language, right? An act of service and a way of showing the other person that we cared about them and that we saw each other. And she would totally want that to continue. She would want me to enjoy the things that she enjoyed. And that was something that made each of us happy and brought a smile to our faces. And it was love in its purest and simplest form. So this year, I'm back on the pumpkin train. I have decided I'm jumping back in with both feet. I am going to make all the pumpkin recipes to the point where my husband will probably tell me to stop because he won't eat it. But I'm going to find all the pumpkin finds and I'm going to try them out. And, maybe I'll say a little prayer or a little nod to Sue and kind of let her know that I'm carrying it forward, even while she's not here, because she's still in my heart. And maybe I can share that with someone else that I love, and it can become an extension of the Sue pumpkin train that her and I started back in 2009. I love a pumpkin spice latte, but I love the gift of expressing how I feel through the act of sharing something I love, like pumpkin, with someone I love more. So this year already feels different. Like pumpkin has been reborn in a different way. I am kind of reclaiming a lot of things in my life. A lot of times I'm finding that it is through food or a recipe, but I also know that, and I said this on my episode about coffee, that like most things in my life, this is a core memory connected to someone in my life, and it unlocks a happy time for me. So why would I want to discount that or stop doing that? Like, I want more things that bring a smile to my face, more things that make me happy. And I can't wait. Well, I can wait because I'm going to wait until Sunday, September 22nd at 8:44 a.m., the official start of fall on the calendar, to share my pumpkin love. I will start then. That's not to say that I won't pick things up before then if I see them, but I definitely will not be venturing into that pumpkin space until that day, out of respect for Sue and our shared love of order in all things. Because again, all things in order, seasons, holidays must be shared and celebrated in order, So October is for Halloween, November's for Thanksgiving, December's for Christmas, and that's it. Everything's in order, and it needs to be celebrated in order. And I know it's a little crazy, but that's how I live my life. But yeah, I can't wait to venture into sharing my love of pumpkin. And I'm hoping one of my friends listening or somebody locally that I've met, these past few years that I've been here, loves pumpkin like I do. And I can extend the pumpkin train out to them and build a new core memory and grow that bond that I had with Sue in a different way. So this leads me to a couple questions. What is your love language? And remember, love language isn't just in a romantic relationship. Love language is an overall way of expressing ourselves to people that we love. So what is your love language? And what for you is similar to my pumpkin journey with Sue? Something that you shared with someone that kind of just brings that smile to your face, that solidified your relationship, but that also bonded you in a different way. And going into the fall and into these next few months where we want to reach out to people and to kind of do something to make a difference in someone's life. Maybe that is something you're thinking about already. And if not, maybe you can think about this. And how can you make someone smile in a simple and small way? I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know that I really enjoyed talking about it. I love sharing kind of my journey with everyone and the things that are happening in my life. And hopefully this made you smile in a little way. And I thank you again for listening and look forward to talking with you again in our next episode. Thanks.